I'd now like to introduce this year's baccalaureate student keynote address speaker, Nabeel.
Hey everyone. I just want to preface this saying I'm not really representing a specific religion, but I am celebrating Ramadan, which means I've been fasting all day, so I haven't had any food or water. So if I stare increasingly long at any one of you, it's because I'm picturing you as food. So don't be creeped out. You just all look like spaghetti and meatballs to me. That's good. All right. So good evening, class of 2016, and congratulations. We finally made it to the last summer, the one where we don't have to worry about or plan for another year here. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here, though. This is the end of an era, but it's definitely not the end. Tonight's theme is the summit, and once we made it to the peak, coming down is easy, but there are many more mountains to climb. I'll be discussing a cycle similar to the mountains we climb. The never-ending cycle I refer to here is the Four Seasons. And no, I'm not talking about the hotel or Frankie Valley and the Four Seasons or anything like that. I'm sure an argument can be made there for both somewhere. I don't know. I'm talking about, real 4 seasons of the year. Fall, spring, summer, winter. Well, you can call it fall, autumn if you want, if you're all fancy like that. But I may not be the most religious person, but I know something about faith. And if there's one thing that the seasons have taught me, it is faith. The thing about the seasons is they change and they take all of us with them. I mean, perceptions change from when the cycle starts all the way back in the summer through the cold of winter. And it can be hard to keep the faith. This faith originates in the summer once the year ends. Everyone's laughing, smiling, generally passing on good vibes. It's really nice. Once we conquer the year, it feels like we can just practically fly. Oh, that reminds me, please don't try flying anytime soon. From my personal experience, it hurts and people laugh a lot. So just please don't do it. Even so, of course we get caught up in the summer and the anticipation of the upcoming year. I know I do. And here's where I share my example of the 4 seasons. Last summer, before senior year started, I shared that general consensus that things were looking up. I was going to be a senior. I had just been announced as section leader for the sousaphones. Track season had got me faster for cross country in the fall, and I had a whole summer to prepare for the entire thing. So I just relaxed in the summer, and then fall began. It was a fast-paced, eventful intro to the whole year, and between school, band, cross country, more band, and homework, I barely had time to catch my breath, I was fine with that because that's exactly what I anticipated. That's what I was planning on. That's what I saw coming. But before I knew it, it was over, and November had arrived. Then no more marching band, no more cross country, and a lot more of school. It was then I thought to myself, the thing that I've been thinking this entire year. I had my countdown clock on, and I said, well, only 7.5 months until graduation, so this is going to be fun. And after all that excitement had passed, I realized things are going to change over the course of the year. It's not always going to be for the better. Classes kept churning out assignments of all shapes and sizes, and there were no exciting events or activities, and time progressed much slower for me. Seasons have dragged me from the excitement of fall to the dullness of winter. So here's where it gets interesting. I tried to speed things up the only way I knew how, by running more. Now, I'm nothing special. I'm not a varsity athlete or anything, but running's a great love of mine, and it's gotten some aggression out and got me through tough times. So I figured, if I was going to be faithful in my senior year, if I was going to keep the faith, I thought running more would be great. I thought it would work. And cross country had ended, and track wasn't until the spring, so I thought I might as well prepare. So I started running on a treadmill, and I was like, I'm going to keep setting these settings higher, and higher, and higher, and run faster. And I progressively set it higher, and I started to notice that I was feeling physically strained, which you can all tell, it's pretty obvious, hindsight's 20/20. But I didn't see at the time, why am I feeling more and more tired each time I go on the treadmill? I mean, it's not like I'm setting the settings higher and higher every time I go on. So, not the best idea, and the physical stress eventually got to me. And one day in class, I was feeling a little woozy. So I didn't think much of it until I woke up on the floor 10 seconds later. It was at that moment I realized that I had fainted in front of my entire AP Lit class. The first words out of my mouth were, no joke, oh man, this is really embarrassing. It was, But more importantly, it was evidence that I needed to slow down. I had the faith that things would work out. But until then, I decided to take things a bit slower, literally and figuratively. And winter reminds us that there are times when we need to relax, which is why it's always a relief when we get those 2 weeks of winter break. And as soon as winter gave me a much-needed rest, the skies began to clear up and spring arrived. And that's when it rewards the faith that people possessed previously. Like track season started for me, gave me something to do, and spring break led into fourth quarter. Things began to lighten up again. Spring gave off a slow burn of progress, blooming flowers and sunshine reminded me of the beginning of the year. And just like the beginning of the year, I threw myself into everything I did in and outside of school. Sure, the work didn't let up, it rarely does, but at least spring has a sense of forward motion to it. I could almost literally smell summer around the corner, giving me something to run towards, finally. By the time spring was over, I had emerged through the belly of the beast, with renewed energy, completing the cycle of the seasons. Okay, so right now you might be thinking, so what? And that's exactly what I think every single year. I always think, boy, I'm a chump. Like, all this to end up right back where I started? Well, no, not entirely, although I am a chump. No, the thing is, the point of the cycle is to come full circle. And coming full circle not only means finishing where you started, but it's growing a little on the way. And when I talk about the seasons, I mention winter the most because that's what makes us learn and experience the most. That's when faith is needed the most. I still hate it. I'd much rather be in summer, believe me. But every year, each of us grows just a little bit more through the winter. Moving forward, that continues to be true. The toughest seasons make us who we are, and the most valuable. So when I think about next year, naturally, I'm anticipating the things to come now more than ever. Great new school, exciting opportunities, and an overall fresh start. But when I think about all the good to come, I know it won't be fall or spring all the time. Winter will come around again. It's only natural for the seasons to change, and I know I will too. The important thing is remaining faithful, that I'll come out of the winter intact. When winter comes back around, I don't know where I'll be, but I can say for sure, I'm not going to be on a treadmill. Thank you.